Welcome back to a new episode of Wheels of History. Before introducing today's protagonist, we ask you, if you want more videos like this, to subscribe to the channel. A small gesture for you, but essential for us to continue our work in showcasing the vehicles that made history. Today we talk about the Aermacchi Ala Verde. Introduced in 1959 as the sporty successor to the Chimera, the Ala Verde gained immediate public success. In 1963, it became the first Italian production motorcycle with a 5-speed gearbox and remained in production until the 1970s. In the 1950s, industrial synergies were not yet formalized, although the concept was well known and, above all, had been applied for quite some time. Among the major advocates of this approach was Aermacchi, or Aermacchi, as the Varese-based company was then called, having risen from the ashes of one of the most prominent aircraft manufacturers. Forced to convert its production following World War II, Aermacchi entered the motorcycle sector in 1950. Its debut in two-wheel vehicles began with a high-wheeled scooter with extremely utilitarian features, though not devoid of original solutions. Originality in both aesthetics and technical solutions was a hallmark that Aermacchi maintained, even when its production became so diversified that it could cater to nearly every need. In fact, starting in 1956, what could be called a modular engine was developed due to its layout. It could be adapted with minimal changes to 175cc and 250cc displacements, both in touring and sporty versions. The horizontal cylinder layout was based on that already tested with the 125cc engine used in various versions of the Moto Leggera or scooter, although this time it was a 4-stroke rather than a 2-stroke. It was from this single-cylinder 4-stroke engine with a cast-iron cylinder and pushrod valve train that Aermacchi developed a whole series of motorcycles, culminating in the 1959 Ala Verde 250, a true flagship of Varese's entire production line. The Ala Verde emerged from the failed Chimera project. Both the 175cc and 250cc versions of the Chimera featured innovative, unconventional styling that did not win the commercial success it deserved. The lightweight alloy fairing, which fully covered the engine, frame, and every other technical component, did not appeal to potential buyers. The market was not yet ready for such solutions, and Aermacchi decided to shift direction by introducing what could be called the naked versions of the Chimera. By 1957, they had already developed the 175cc Ala Bianca and the 250cc Ala Azzurra. The quarter-litre model represented the touring version of this displacement class, while the sportier version appeared 2 years later with the Ala Verde. If, at least aesthetically, the main differences between the two motorcycles were found in the shape of the tank performance-wise, they were significantly distinct. The Ala Verde boasted a maximum power output of 13.7 HP at 6,500 RPM, allowing a top speed of 125 km per hour. With the Ala Verde, power increased to 16 HP at the same RPM and the speed reached 140 km per hour. Contrary to expectations, the Ala Verde's engine remained exceptionally smooth with a torque curve that held steady above 1.9 kgm from 3,500 to 5,500 RPM. These figures, particularly the top speed, had no competition in Italy and allowed the Ala Verde to rival models with more than double its displacement. These top-tier performance levels did not necessitate extreme tuning of the engine. In fact, the main differences between the engines of the Ala Azzurra and the Ala Verde lay in the compression ratio, from 7.5 to 8.5, the carburetor size, 22mm for the touring model and 24mm for the sports model, and the intake valve diameter, 35mm instead of 33mm. Despite its 140 km/h top speed, the Ala Verde was also very fuel efficient, consuming just 3.5 litres per 100 km. As per CUNA standards, measured at a constant speed of 95 km/h. If there is a secret to this efficiency, it lies between the initial engine design by engineer Alfredo Bianchi and its excellent aerodynamic profile. Thanks to 17-inch tires, the engine's horizontal layout, and a single-tube frame with the engine mounted cantilevered, the motorcycle remained very low, compact and sleek. The sporty characteristics of Aermacchi's road models were precisely what led to the creation of the racing versions, the Ala Verde, in 175cc and 250cc displacements, as well as a 250cc motocross bike, with a higher displacement variant for competing in the 500 class. By 1959, these models reached the top levels of competition. Further underscoring the sporty aspect of the Ala Verde in 1963, right after signing a commercial agreement with Harley-Davidson, Aermacchi introduced a version with a 5-speed gearbox. This marked the first time such a technical solution was implemented on an Italian production motorcycle. While performance remained unchanged, the new gear spacing made riding even livelier, allowing the Ala Verde 250 to remain competitive until the early part of the next decade. But how did this model come to be? Let's delve into some Aermacchi history. The Ala Verde arrived on the market as the final link in a series, beginning with the first Aermacchi powered by a 4-stroke engine. Following its high-wheeled 2-stroke scooters and motorized carts powered by a 125cc engine, Aermacchi entered true motorcycle production with the Chimera 175. The lackluster performance of this model led Aermacchi's team to add a 250cc version. The Chimera's innovative design, featuring a lightweight alloy fairing and monoshock rear suspension, failed to win over enthusiasts. To address this, naked versions of both displacements were introduced. The 175cc model was available in touring trim, Ala Bianca, and a sporty version, Ala Rossa. The 250cc model was presented only as a touring version, Ala Azzurra. While all three motorcycles shared similar technical solutions, such as a return to conventional rear suspension, their performances differed, with respective top speeds of 105, 120 and 125 km/h. The range of 4-stroke engines was completed with the Ala Verde in 1959, the sporty version of the 250. The power output reached 16 HP, and the top speed was 140 km/h. A figure worthy of models with a much higher displacement. In 1963, the Ala Verde underwent a significant technical modification with the adoption of a 5-speed gearbox, the first time this was seen on an Italian production motorcycle. By 1968, modifications were made to the Ala Verde's frame, with one key change in the same period. The 17-inch wheels were replaced with a 19-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. The motorcycle also received some aesthetic updates without altering its main characteristics. Thanks to its reliability and performance, this engine remained one of the best quarter-litre engines available for over 10 years. Rugged and simple, the single cylinder with its distinctive layout, mounted cantilevered in a unique frame, incorporated cutting-edge technical solutions. The single-cylinder engine of the Aermacchi 250, designed by Alfredo Bianchi, exemplified the finest traditions of Italian 4-stroke motorcycle engineering. Although structurally simple, it featured several noteworthy construction solutions, making it so effective that, despite being created in the 1950s, it remained one of the best quarter-litre engines worldwide in terms of reliability and performance for over a decade. It was a horizontal cylinder engine with a pushrod valve train and wet sump lubrication, fed by a Dell'Orto carburetor with a 24mm diffuser. For Aermacchi engine parts and vintage motorcycles, visit www.thekingofficeton.com.